Hey y'all, welcome back to Homesteading in the City. I'm Zach, and today we are going on a tour of my garden. We're starting off here at our patio pond, which used to be a brick raised bed, and Percy dug down, and we filled in with concrete, or lined with concrete and filled with water to make this pond. And it's one of 3 ponds that we have on the property right now. The thing we like about ponds is not just the white noise that they provide, but also the great water. These have fish in it, they have frogs and stuff, and so that water's always circulating, building up nutrients. Sometimes we'll just take plants and dunk them in to water them. Sometimes we'll take coffee mugs and just use it to go and hand water some plants if we want to. We'll use this water to take in water our house plants. So multifunctional, and we just love how it looks. Now our whole yard is on a hill, and at the top of that hill we've got these chickens and the compost that we make, that they make. We pile it up, we throw them in food scraps and even cardboard and stuff. We'll throw that in here, pile it up, it composts down, and then we can use that throughout the orchard and the gardens that we'll see in a second. Really? And not only do they make us some great compost, but they have also started laying eggs. At least this one has. We haven't gotten them from all of them. We have our nesting boxes here. We're using some fake eggs to try to train them to lay there, but we're still working on that. And of course they get to spend a lot of time in their chicken run that is made from these trees that were bent over. These are mostly cherry-laurels, and so because of the way we did it, this is now an anti-fragile system, in that if the power company ever comes in and just chops them from the top, they will actually put off even more growth. It's kind of hard to tell from here. We are under power lines, and so that was the original reason why we started bending over these trees, because we knew the power company would come and just chop them off right there. So we bent them over to create this roof, and as they put off new growth that went straight up, it's created this canopy. And now anytime any of that's going to be cut, it's just going to come back even stronger. Oh yeah, and Percy is obsessed with the chickens, aren't you, Percy? Okay, so just downhill and a little bit closer to the house from the chicken run is our food forest area. We've got lots of trees. I've got this red mulberry that's doing fantastic. We've got an American persimmon there that is coming in stronger this year. My loquat is doing good. Got this plum from our friend Amanda at Doco Farm. What else? Oh, we got the strawberry bush that is putting off its fruit that gives it its name. These are not strawberries like the fruit that we eat. We do have some of those down on the ground here. I think. I swear we have strawberries somewhere here. There we go. We've got one of our chestnuts here. We do have another one back there in that thicket. And then we have this banana that is right here by this pathway and should be kind of twinned with this guy that's in the next section down the orchard. So this is the 7-row fruit orchard. It's still coming in. I'll give a little bit of an overview first of how we built it. This was originally going to be some raised bed spots, and so we burned the original lawn and started to make some raised beds, and then we decided to move more of the annual vegetables to the front yard and make this area an orchard area. One of the things that we wanted to do with the orchard was slow down the water that's coming downhill and flooding down here at the bottom of the hill at Percy's Pond. So we took logs and we made kind of terraced areas, swales, whatever you want to call them, and we just planted in part of the terrace, and then we made these rows in between them. We just piled up a ton of organic matter. Had started off trying to use the cardboard method to kill down the weeds and all that, but in the end we found just the more you piled up organic matter, the wood chips or whatever, the better. And eventually we just kind of had to do a little bit more weeding in maybe that bed. So now at the very top of the hill, is where we'll bring in fresh new wood chips. And so you can kind of see where I brought some in this week. They look new and fresh. And then Percy loves to dig in here, just like that. And you can kind of see where when he gets down really low, you can start to see, yeah, some of the original sandy soil. You can see how sandy it was. And so as he digs that out and it mixes with these wood chips, it starts breaking down into this stuff. And then as he digs, it gets kind of thrown into the rest of the orchard. That or we'll rake it downhill, like down this path and into those paths. And in the winter, these paths will just, they're kind of breaking down, and we'll just rake those on top of the actual orchard row. And they will just be a mulch that will go around all the trees in it. They'll help nourish this. And at that point, they're really broken down and we're getting fresh chips all the time at the top of the system. And as it comes down, they're aging and adding nutrients to the whole orchard and just creating a whole spongy terraced effect that soaks up all of the rainwater coming through. I won't go through and list every tree in the orchard, but I do want to show this one. It's a pear tree, and we're just going to show one of the ways that we're going to be able to fit dozens of trees into this small backyard. And so I've just taken a stick and used some zip ties temporarily to bend down these branches horizontally. And so we're going to kind of do an espalier 2D tree, and then we'll just clip the branches so it'll be, you know, about 4 to 6 feet wide. It's going to come up maybe another level and have 2 more branches that'll come out. And then over time, these horizontal branches should put up vertical growth like this. And then that's where we'll get some of the fruit. So it's going to take some time to establish. We're doing it a little bit differently on some of the other trees, but that's how on these 7 rows we're going to try to get maybe 2 dozen different fruit trees. And at the edge of our orchard, we do have our fountain pond. It was the first pond that we started working on. We have fish in this one too. I love putting plants around the edge, and they just kind of get that splatter all throughout the day, get a constant moisture. We've also got, you know, pots in the pond. We've got stuff growing in the tiers of the fountain. This is right now some mint that's just taking over. We've had watercress before, and so it's just fun to grow stuff in here. It's also easy, just like the other ones. We can, well, I just got my hand right now. Take a watering can, just dip it in there, get that nutritious pond water, and go water some plants. And one of my newest projects is this solar kit by my greenhouse. So in my greenhouse, I've got this compost tea going, and so I'm working on getting the battery and controller and inverter all going well so that I can run my compost tea system off of solar power. I've gotten it to work for a little while. I haven't gotten it to just stay going, so we'll still be working on that, but that's a fun project. Oh, and a little update on the earth boxes in the greenhouse. The basil last time we were here was, I think, just little starts. It has taken off. We've got some tomatoes too. We're gonna see if we can get them to grow, but mainly it's the basil that is just loving life. So down here we've got our pawpaws that I think I just buried a pawpaw 2 years ago in this spot, and we've had multiple seeds take off. They came up last year around this time, and so this is year 2 of growth, so it might be a few more years before we actually get fruit from them. But this is right at the tail end of pawpaw season in South Carolina, and I know we're on the early end of pawpaw season, so it's starting to creep north from here. We just harvested a lot of fruit from the greenway this year. Now, if you've been around us for a while, you know we love pawpaw. It only comes around for a few weeks of the year, That was just now in South Carolina. I foraged some from the Greenway because we don't have any grown yet. Got the pulp, put it in the freezer. We're gonna use it to make ice cream and share it at my third harvest garden party, whatever we're calling it. This is the first time I've had a third year in the same garden. So I wanted to have a little party for neighbors and friends to celebrate that. And we're gonna share some of that pawpaw ice cream and other local treats at it. In the side garden, we've got a little bit of elderberry still coming in. We've got our comfrey is doing good here, so I'll probably dig that up and try to separate the root out and plant it other places. We do have, Lantana loves it here. I probably will not keep it here permanently, trying to cut it down and let that strawberry kind of take over in here, but it's getting beaten out by a lot of other stuff. We do have our key lime tree. It's doing good now. Gonna try to get it through the winter right there. And the Meyer lemon, I think, will have a better chance through the winter. It's right up on the east side of the house. This should get decently warm and kind of create a microclimate that will get it through this coldest nights. We could probably also put a blanket or something on it. But this is the one that I'm gonna try to grow in that espalier method, maybe like a candelabra up the side of this house. So stay tuned for that. The other big thing on this side of the house is our muscadines, which we did get a few little fruits growing on it. They haven't really ripened yet, but not too much this year. But the difference in growth over the years that we've had it, we think next year should put off a good bit of fruit. And this whole side path is starting to come together. The fig tree in the memorial garden is putting off a lot of growth. We're probably actually gonna have to prune that back over the winter, but it's doing a good job along with these Sea Island red peas, just taking over this area and kind of crowding out the weeds that were starting to creep in here. And so next year we'll probably do a little bit more prep in the spring to have more flowers and stuff in this area, and we'll kind of explain a little bit more about the memorial garden. But until then, all right. And last month, the 4 raised beds in the front, we were looking at a big green blob. I went through and did a ton of trimming on these Sea Island red peas that had just taken over, and you could see the paths again, and you could see 4 distinct beds, and it's already become a big green blob again. You can kind of see down here where when I chopped it down, it started to break down, but that just shows how great of a green mulch or cover crop, whatever you want to call it, this cowpea can be. We've got it mixing in now too with some of the morning glory over on this side, but right now we're just going to let it put off some more growth, and we're going to trim that all down. And we've got some new metal raised beds that we're going to put in right here. And then on top of the hill in the middle, we've got our other little raised beds. They are just taken over by grass right now. We had some garlic in them earlier this year. These also just kind of let them go. And then when we put the new metal beds in there, we're also probably going to get some soil brought in, and so we'll just top off those beds there and then reset these ones. Oh, and if you've noticed the wood chips that are everywhere in our garden, that's because we have gotten 13 truckfuls of mulch delivered right here on our dedicated mulch delivery driveway, which is on the other side of the yard of our car driveway. We learned from our last house not to get that blocked, and so now we have dedicated space. They can dump the wood chips here, and then I have a path that I can bring my wagon and just take it wherever I need in the rest of the garden, and then just work on this pile over the course of a couple weeks or months, depending on how hot it is, to be honest, sometimes. One of the things that I do have to worry about is poison ivy in the garden now. this is not poison ivy. It's some of those cowpeas that have migrated over. Poison ivy likes to vine up trees. This is also not poison ivy. This is some Virginia creeper that grows all around here. Now we do have poison ivy right here. And I've gone over that a little bit in some of our short form videos about identifying it. Of course, in a single minute, I was not able to hit everything and all possible exceptions to the rules, but maybe I'll do a long form video. Let me know in the comments. Do you want to learn more about identifying poison ivy, the different ways it can look, its imposters or just lookalikes, maybe not imposters, and then what to do if you contact it? Let me know in the comments. Actually, I should at least go over first aid now. It's really simple. If you touch poison ivy, again, this is cowpea, the way it affects you is an oil that gets on your skin and reacts. The best way to prevent that reaction is to wash it off as quickly as possible. Just, you know, soap and water, whatever you have. It's not 100% effective, but you know, the quicker you can do it, the better chance you have. And on the other side of our driveway, our berry hedge is still slowly coming along. We've got a few more berries popping up, but that's where hopefully this fall we can put a lot more attention and add some stuff to grow. So that's kind of it for the gardens. As I alluded to earlier, we're having a garden party September 21st, the autumnal equinox. If you're in the Midlands, hit us up. If you want to come by, check out the gardens in person, try some snacks. I thought at this stage that we would be harvesting some more from the garden. It's gonna take probably a few more seasons to really get it cranking. But we do have some wild forage stuff from the greenways that we're gonna be making some snacks from and sharing. Other than that, see you in the next video. Bye.